Okay, hello, how are you? Welcome back to Subtech Online, the only channel where we keep learning. Today I'm going to take you through how you can build a visual, I can call a graph, bar chart, which is dynamic by the selection of the radio buttons. So I wish you could be having Office 365. Because we are going to use the latest functions which are already uploaded with 365. That is the switch function. We shall use the filter function and the sort function. Okay, let's get to our screen and get to work. As we have already said, we are going to work on an interactive chart, which is dynamic by the click of a radio button. Now, before we go further, I want to show you 365. You should go on the certified webpage of Microsoft.com. You read about the 365. Then even the subscriptions, they are favorable. You can choose any. They have 4 categories. You can choose any: home, business, enterprise, and for education. Okay, let's get to work. The first thing we are going to do, we already have our raw data, which is this division up and sales, which I've already shifted to our session sheet. We are going to do the data preps. Data preps is basically the summary from our raw data. Now, what we are looking at is having a chart which gives us sales per application, but as we get the sales per application, it should be per division we have selected in the radio buttons or any selections we do. Okay, now all that is done using the 3 formulas. I've noted it is in 365, the sort, filter, and the switch. So the sort is going to help us to sort our content range or the arrays. Then the filter will help us to extract the matching records. That is now the matching records we have here. If it is game, then it brings for us applications which are in game. If it is productivity, it will do so. Then the switch, this one, it evaluates a value against the list that has been provided. So at some point we are going to name our radio buttons 1, 2, 3, 4. So any radio button we click on, it may be 1. Now we have to change. 1 represents what, 2 represents what. So this is it. So let's start off with the filtering first. So we are considering here the applications and sales. That's the data we are going to extract. So what we do is equal to filter. We are filtering our data. It is requesting for the array. The array is the data we are going to filter. That is now the applications and the sales. Then what do we now want to include? We want to include the division. So that is the array we are going to include, but that division will depend on which radio button we shall have selected. Okay, now going first, make sure that developer mode or the developer tab is activated on your window. If it is not activated, go to Office, go to Options. Options, then you go to Customize Ribbon and you activate the developer mode or the developer tab. So when it is activated, come to Insert. We are going to insert radio buttons. So this is it. I select the first one. So this one we are going to call it Click There, and change the label to game. So using the same, I will right mouse click, copy, then paste. move it in that same line. This one we are going to call it utility. Delete. Then this is utility. Then make sure that the spelling is right. I paste again. The third one is this productivity. Sorry. Okay, the third, delete. This is productivity. Then the fourth and last will be the social. This is the social. Okay, so you'll note that when I select one and I want to select the next, it will always give me an option of selecting only one, and that is it, and that's what I need. So it means that any radio button we insert in this sheet, it will always be grouped as one. So if you want to separate them and you want to make more radio buttons which are separate from this, you can always go back and insert a control for the group, a group control. So that is now. We have to note when we right mouse click, we have to assign this one a control. Now this will be assigned a control. Which cell we need to assign a control? We shall assign G2. Yes, so I click here, that is G2. Okay, so game is represented by 1, utility represented by 2, productivity is 3, social is 4. So let me have this one highlighted for visibility. Okay, now we go ahead and filter equals to filter. We are filtering our data, that is the array is the apps and the cells array. Even if I don't lock it, you can lock it for better discipline of your data. Then you include, now what we are including is the division, so you can also lock this. So the division should be equal to, which means if I'm to do a selection or a filter, then I have to depend on which selection has been made on the radio button, and that is the number 4 or the number 1, number 2, number 3, that is in G2. But now the G2, we have to make sure that this is a numeric and the other one is a text. So how do we tell that social is equal to 4? How do we tell that utility is equal to 2? How do we tell that productivity is equal to 3? Now that's where we come up with the switch function. So the switch function is it extracts, it evaluates an expression. So we are going to command Excel that please mind you, when you see 1, then that is game. When you see 2, then that is utility. When you see 3, that is productivity. That's what the switch function does. So switch, and the expression is the G2. We start with 1. 1 should represent game, so I will do game. Then 2 should represent utility. Okay. Then 3 should represent that is make sure that you put the right punctuations, comma. 3 represents productivity. Yes, yeah, productivity. Then make sure that the right spellings are used and the right punctuations are used. Then the last one, which is a 4, it will represent social, which is this. Okay, social, that is Okay, and that is all. Those are the values we have. Now the results, that is it. 1 representing game, 2 utility, and blah blah. Okay, now that is the switch. We have included that. Now if it is empty, in case there is no selection that is done, but for now we know that at least there will always be a selection done. If there is no selection done, then you can put something to be shown as a default, but for now we go with that. So you can close the bracket. Now this is the array. You'll check videos on our channel about arrays. So for every array you'll always see a blue lining border which encapsulates the array when a formula and any function is used, either a filter or a switch or on the arrays. Now after doing this, we are going to have our chart. So I will do this selection, insert a chart. So we shall go with this. Yeah, indeed, this is it. I'll have it reduced to sort. Okay, so this is it. So you see that the last snapshot is the first here, and the first becomes the last, but we need to sort this. For better data analysis, we make sure that at least it descends or ascends depending on how you need it. So at the moment we can try and check. When we click on productivity, this one changes, but another thing you have to note, you see that our data, our ranges are not dynamic because they are constant. They are constant to a certain range, which we are going to look at. So utility, you see, we remain with a gap, which is not right. We shall sort that up. Then game, this is it. So we don't need this confusion. Let's sort our data first. Before we go to that, I can do some formatting here. Okay, double click in the chart area, click on the bars. I need to increase this gap. That is, I like using green, so shall do solid and green. That is it. We can remove the x-axis. We don't need it. We don't need the grid lines. I think that is it all. Then we shall need the data labels. Yep, so far so good. Let's copy this number formatting up to down. Let's sort this. So we shall add a sort function. Sort function open. Now this is the array which we have already worked on. Then we are sorting with which index? Sorry. Just a moment. Let's look at the brackets closed. Well, open more than brackets we need. Okay, that is it. Then comma, sort index. We want to sort by the cells column, which is now number 2. Then we are going to sort our data by in ascending order, that is number 1, and that is it all. We close that. I think now you check, now there is at least a uniformity in our data. Game is selected. When I select utility, you see the flashlight is the highest and remain as the least. Then productivity the same, show the same. Now we have a challenge which we have to sort out. The challenge of some, either there is a high range which is picked, or for some there is a low range which is picked. So we have to sort this. Now sorting this, we have to make sure that we have our data into a grouped named range. So let's make this a named range. Making this a named range, now that is for the app and the cells. We are going to go to formulas. We look for name manager. Okay, name manager. We already have named. We have already named ranges here, which are the sheets which I've already worked on. So we are going to create other named ranges. Now, when we check, we are creating a new one. So we shall call this one. Let me call it app session. I'm putting an _s. Then here I select this one is equal to. So clicking on this, since it is an array, which means E5 stands, that's where we have our formula. Remember, this one is an array. So since it is an array, we are going to use the hash function. So we have a video about arrays. You can check our channel, more details about the arrays. It will be explained more. So since our formula lies in the cell E5, then we shall call it E5 hash. That's how we denote the spills in the arrays. So we are going to name this one the apps ranges. Now okay, now this is it. Let me see if I edit and click here, it selects the whole range. Now since now this one is selecting the whole array, we have to denote out only index number 1, which means we are going to use we are going to encapsulate this function into the index. So I'm going to add the index formula, index function, such that here we note only the first one, which is index number 1. So that's how we use the index. We shall have this one detailed in one of the videos on our channel still. So this is it. So this time when I say edit and click into the array, you'll find that it is only this one. Okay. Now for the second, that is now the cells, I'm going to use the whole of this, but we are only changing. I'm creating a new one. We are calling this one cells _s, and this time we are using the same formula. This time we are using index 2. So this is it. Just a moment, something we have to look at. Now for the index, we need all the rows, which means I'll skip the rows here. I'm not selecting any row, any index on the rows. Then it is the column where I'm selecting index number 1. Then for cells still, we don't need all the rows, so we shall be only selecting index number 2. So that is, I think. So let's try and edit and see. So if I click here, you see it selects only cells. Okay. Then for the applications, when I click here, it will only select applications. So let's go and edit our chart. Click in the chart, go to the chart design, come and select data. So we want to change the data ranges. We begin with the cells. We edit this. Now you see, now that is the range which was being picked for what is being selected now, which is utility. This time we are going to change the whole of this, delete the whole of this range, but leave the sheet name with an exclamation mark. Remember the name of the cells, we called it cells _s. So that is it. You see it has already picked the data. Yes. Okay, then we come now to the horizontal. Still we also change it, which is this. We are changing this to, we called it up_s. So that is, here we go. Okay, now you'll find that if we select games, you see the range now is adjusting accordingly to what games is capturing. Utility, it is adjusting accordingly. You see productivity, it does so, and social, it does so. So guys, we have talked about here the index function. Please read about it. We have a video. You see it picks the array, it picks the row and number and the column number. So since the array, we wanted this, so we picked this array, and we never wanted an index of the row. We needed all the rows. Then we went to the column, which is number 1. So I think that is, let's move. I think you see what it picks. Then when you put here number 2, it will pick for you index number 2. So that's how the index formula works. Okay, now let's go to let's look at now how do we maintain the heading. Remember, we need a dynamic heading. The title, we need it to be dynamic. So how would we do that? The first thing is, let's look at the percentage wise. Let's first pick the percentages. I'm going to add something here. Okay, and the total here, the total sales. Then we shall have the division sales. Then we shall have the percentage of the division. Now the total sales, we have okay, the total sales we have, this is equal to, we do the sum of the whole of this. We can extend up to around 20 or something, or still you can do the sum of sales as, since we already have that, and it will give us this is the total currently, 48,700 that. So we copy the data formatting, we have it here. Then here we shall have the division sales. So this one will be equal to sorry, what we started with is the division sales, because currently that is the division selected. That is now the sum of the sales, this which is now the division sales. Now the total sales, this is the sum of the whole of this. We can select up to around, if there is any addition which will be made, then we can select, can change this one up to around 30, which is fine. Okay, now this is the total, this is the division sales. Now let's get the percentage. This one is just equals to this divided by the total sales, and let's have this in percentage, and have one decimal place at least. So this is it. So when we change game, it changes 35, utility changes to 11, and that and that. So this is it, guys. Now let's look at the title. How do we change this title? Now let's format our title. We need our title to be up sales for, then here we put the division dash 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 dash. Now that is the division that will become that we shall be engaging to be dynamic. So up sales for the division, let's say game, or for the game division, or for the utility division, or something like that. Then with cells, up cells for division, up cells for division R. Then here we come and put the percentage. So where I've put the dashes, I want us to link these to the division and link the other one to the percentage. The first thing I will do, starting with the division. Remember, with the division we already have a switch which we are going to cheat from here. We already have this switch which we are switching, that one should represent game, two should represent this, blah 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 blah. Then so I will add here equals to, then put that one in quotes. This is how we do it. Add and then bring the switch now. So the switch is, which is this, but you already know that the 4, we already have a function for it, that is the switch. So you see now it is showing us a 4, but it is meant to be showing us game or something else like that. So this is, so we are going to copy the switch function, which is this. Okay, now here we shall be adding the switch function. So this one will be giving us, if it is a 4, then it will give us social like that. Then that is up cells for division cells R. Now here we put and quotes, then we add R, we put a space, we close the quotes, then we put and. Now we come and put here the percentage, of which we shall lock. So the percentage, we have to change that text format, and we already know that we have a text function which does that. So I will put text this. I need it in the format of percentage, so I will put a 0.0% like this. So I will put it in quotes, because it has to be in quotes. So that's how we use the text function. Because we need this one in percentage, then I will encapsulate it in the function of text. So this is how what you see now. We have to put a space between division and okay, I'll come here, put space. So you see now the heading is up cells for division, social for division, social. I think I'll put here semicolons. Just that is it. You can go with that. Now we are going to make this one dynamic. Click on the title, go and click in the formula bar, equals to, then you link it to this cell, and that's how we do our dynamic titles. So when I click on game, it automatically changes up cell for division game R 35, that utility, that productivity, and the other one social. So something remaining, we have to just beautify it this way. Let me show you, which is simple. Just go to insert, get a shape, which is this. I'll draw my shape, that is it. Now the shape comes on top. I have to change this color with the fill color. We change the fill color to around gray. Yeah, gray can work for us. Yeah, we can go with gray. Then we have to send this one backwards, so right click and you come on the arrange, send it backwards. Exactly, that is it. So what we had forgotten, we have to change the chart area and the plot area to no fill. So double click on the chart area, come to the fill option, go to the solid color, make it no fill. Actually it is no fill here. Then go to the plot area, the chart options also, you do no fill. So we see now this is it. We can have this one to blue or white, something like a bright color. We can have this to white, solid color. No, that is no fill. We just need the lining, which we need to use as white. Okay, the color here is white, and no, that is the fill. We don't need that. Okay, this is no fill. So we come here and make this one white. It is coming to, can leave it black, okay. So this is it, guys. Now what is remaining, if I try to move this chart, you see I don't move all the components at once. So to do that, we have a function which people don't normally use, which it is home. In find and select, we have the select object. So I'll pick this, select all these. I have not selected the outer, so I have to repeat it. So after the selection, I right must click, sorry, it is right must click, and I group them. So which means if I'm moving my graph, it is attached. So changing changing back this, I deactivate the select of objects. So that is game, that is utility, that is productivity, and that is social. Thank you guys, those ones who have been around up to the end. Please subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. You can also have the notification bell clicked, such that you can always have the latest notification of any video we always upload. Thank you, see you next time, bye bye.